E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Weda.
Hey,
well,
Emerson.
hello, Mike.
Good to see you, buddy. I'm excited about today's show.
Yeah, we have a very special guest today. No, Mr. Smiles.
He truly is, too, one of the best attitudes I've ever seen, Emerson. And, Vinney Chopra is a real estate magnate, I guess you'd call him. He's a guy that not only talks to and shares with a lot of groups about his information, but he's out there doing it every day. And to give folks an idea, he has about $1 billion of property under management. And that's with a B, folks, not with an M.
Billion with a B.
That's right. And, a couple of billion, you're talking real money. But let's bring him on into the studio, Emerson. And, folks, I just want to mention.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Hello, Vinney.
There he is.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Emerson. So nice to meet you. And it's such a pleasure to be on your show. I'm so excited.
Well, we feel real fortunate.
You seem a little low energy today.
No, thank you. That's how I get up, and that's how I'm all day long. And I know my wife asks me at the end of the day, "Are you tired yet? You've been speaking and giving webinars or Zoom meetings for 14 hours." And I said, "No, I'm okay. Let's go have fun."
I think that comes from doing work that you love to do. And, that's true of all three of us today, is we're in niches that we really enjoy. And for those of you that don't know, Emerson is actually a world-class copywriter and marketing strategist. And, he's actually done it for very successful campaigns and for a lot of years, folks. And then Vinney is he's Mr. Syndication. I mean, he's one of the most successful small office syndicators in the country. I mean, there's some big guys with 500 employees that might be doing a little bit more, but when it comes to keeping the money that he earns, Vinney's one of the best. And I have.
And we're going to be talking more about what syndication even means for those of you who don't know, because it is a huge area in investing.
Yes, and Vinney, that's what we thought we'd have you open up with, is just explain a little bit maybe about how you got into syndication and then what's involved in a syndication.
I would love to. A little bit background on me. I'm from India originally. I came to USA with $7 in my pocket many years back. I'm a mechanical engineer. I came to this land of opportunity for everybody watching or listening. to do my MBA, Master's in Business Administration, from George Washington University. And lo and behold, from an engineer, I became a salesperson, a consultant, motivational speaker, and real estate investor. I sold Bibles and encyclopedias door to door, 13 hours a day. 13 hours a day for the whole summer. Did it 3 summers, not one summer and gone back, but I just came next summer to earn tuition for my school. So I didn't have to take a loan. So no, I'm so happy to, we got married about over 40 years back. We live in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area in Danville, California. But real estate actually started through proximity. When we moved here, my friends were in real estate 40 years back. And every weekend when we meet, they talk about real estate, rentals, and this and that. Then I got a little bit intrigued by it. And then we started buying single family homes. But then about 16 years back, and this is 2023 now, so 16 years back, somehow it just dawned on me, you know what, to scale up, you want to really be buying bigger deals, commercial deals, and you just have so much money that you could spend your own money to buying these deals. So I was introduced with the notion of syndication. That's the word syndication, which is legally pooling the money together from your family, friends, and people you know, all them, so that they're entrusting you with their money and you are investing that money to make money grow, give them returns and things like that in a legal way. So that's a simple language, but I would love to expand on it as much as you would like me to.
Emerson
That's a
is
very good explanation right there.
yeah. I think
Go
for
ahead,
our
Mike.
readers, it is. I think for our readers, that's a good explanation, because
Sure.
but a lot of our readers are younger and they probably don't
And
know
our
what
viewers
insight.
too.
I mean, our viewers. A lot of
Yes,
our.
yes,
I'm a
yes.
publisher. What can I say? A, lo- uh,
He's a
a
publisher.
lot.
What can we say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of our viewers probably don't even know what encyclopedias are.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's, and folks, it's a huge stack of books. I don't know how much they weighed, but dragging them from house to house had to be a lot of fun. I mean,
You're so
Imagine
right.
Google as books.
Oh my
yeah,
God. There we go. That's so true.
that's true.
Nobody
Imagine
uses
Google if it was all in books.
Yeah,
in books. Now it's digital encyclopedias and everything.
yeah.
But back then, of course, we were taking orders. So you're right. I was having a sample of the encyclopedia, kind of showing them. But once they got it from the company, it was many volumes. You're so right, Mike, about it. But then
Yeah.
home religious library and Bible, even though I'm Hindu, I respect every religion. So I had no problems, sharing the ideas and so on.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, when it comes to spirituality, I don't think it matters what religion you
Totally,
practice or don't practice. It's a philosophy and a way of acting that's just good for everyone, good for the planet.
totally,
Uh,
for sure.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah, I think
You're kind of
we can
freezing up on
hear.
us there, Mike.
Yeah.
sorry about that, guys. I'm actually going to shut my video off to conserve bandwidth because we've been having awful internet
Okay.
problems. So I'm just going to be that guy there. Now, hopefully, I
He just
won't
wants to
freeze
show the
up for you.
cartoon face.
Yeah.
He
Hey,
just wants to show the cartoon face.
I've been told many times that I have the perfect face for radio and I have the personality for print. So there you go, guys. Vinney, you work with a lot of charities too because of your success in syndicating. Do you want to talk just briefly about any one of those? Or
I would love to, love to. Our whole family, I have always, when I grew up very poor, or medium class in India, always had a heart to really help people around us. So when I got, even before marriage, I didn't have much money at all, zero money, negative accounts, all that. But after my, lovely wife, and we moved to California, we started making more money and all. We would give money to different charities, hunger organizations, and also work with other organizations to raise money to build schools, orphanages, and in the Africa region and in India, because I'm from India. But then we started building our charity like a uh, 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 we call them as my grandparents' names from both the sides, like a foundation. And
Mhm.
so we put money in there and then we give out to people in Vietnam and others. The key thing is to really do something. It's good to really not feel that, oh my gosh, I don't want to give this charity, that charity. The organization eats up a lot of money, but find charities that give 100% of the money most of the time to the cause. And that's what my wife and I have done. We don't really say too much out in the open, but every quarter, every month, every first of the year, we look at different charities that we give out to, and it's good. I know one we were talking about was the planting of the trees. That's amazing because
Yes.
with zero carbon initiative, Emerson, I know we talked about it, and you've done so well with Walmart and others. I came to know, and we will do it even more because with what is happening in the world right now, with the temperature, increasing and everything, by having more planting of trees, will be a very good cause, zero carbon. Yeah, maybe I'm sure you could add more to that.
Well,
And
I
then,
think our board, I think our producer just put up the. I'm on actually. I serve on the board of the U.S. Green Chamber of Commerce as well. So
yes,
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 those types
beautiful,
of
beautiful,
initiatives all matter,
beautiful.
and it's not a
And
case. It's go ahead.
no, no, I was going to say the
Yeah, it's
charity
not a
water
case of
is another
well, how
one.
about just Vinny? You talk. You're
No,
the
no, no,
guest. Go
please go
ahead.
ahead. I apologize. I apologize. It just dawned on me that, Charity Water is another organization. I took an initiative last year and I think raised 15 or 20,000 or something in promoting in my circles, and a lot of good friends, contributed to it. But that's another one. Clear water for different 26 countries or something. This charity also does very well. That's the other one also. Yes. No, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, Jim and I are in conversation, and we had him as one of the guests on one of the shows with a company that is revolutionizing the water purification and
Hmm.
reducing the cost significantly and extending the life significantly of the materials. And in our conversations with Owen, I said, what we need to do is probably find some communities here and
Hmm.
over and abroad that are in
Hmm.
serious need of having pure water.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we can make that into a cause. We can be getting funding for that.
Yeah.
And as a company, we'll begin to stand for that. And
Hmm.
so, the mixture, I call it the trifecta. When you get corporate support and you have a cause that's bigger, everyone
Yeah.
benefits. The
For
corporation
sure.
benefits, the people benefit,
Totally.
everybody benefits.
For sure.
So
So
kudos to
true.
you
So true.
for the work that you're doing there.
No, 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 no. I think it's really wonderful. Yes. Hi, Mike. Yeah, I'm glad.
I had to say that when it comes to bad water, I was born in Flint, Michigan. So,
Ah.
I think their new tourism slogan is "Come visit Flint. Our water won't kill you" most of the time.
Most of the time.
So,
Sure.
yeah, the clean water is great. And what I
Oh,
like particularly,
we're gonna get emails on that one, Mike. You know
yeah,
that.
yeah, I know. Hey, if they're living in Flint, they probably can't write. So, uh,
Oh boy. Oh boy. Now we're gonna even get more emails.
Oh, we can't hear
Mike's saving
somehow,
grace
Mike.
is that
Sorry.
he is from there.
Yes,
His
that's
saving grace is that he's from Flint.
It's from Flint, right? I think somehow the audio is not coming through, but
We've
I'm sure.
lost your sound, Mike.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
yeah, no worries. Yeah, let's see. Well, it's a live show. I know we can be as animated as we want to
Yes, it
be,
is.
but as we could talk about, one thing for sure, I find that anybody listening, even younger generation, or millennials, as we have so many of us here. I'm actually baby boomer and retired, and I just turned 71 this weekend. So again, the
Happy
10,000.
birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Emerson. Thank you so much. But the key thing is that we want to share the ideas so that our young people get into real estate and they can actually be doing well for themselves and others. As a lot of fortunes, we want to put a disclaimer, we are not giving any advice, but for educational purposes only, that it's good to look into how you could do house hacking, how you could get a duplex or triplex or fourplex or even 8 units even at a younger age, so that you can have streams of income coming with your regular jobs also.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes.
completely
And a lot
agree
of
with that.
people may be familiar with the idea of having a duplex. But if you think about a duplex and you're starting out, you may be living on one side, the other
Yes,
side is paying for that property. So you're
totally.
investing at the same
Yeah,
time instead of just paying into a rental cycle where you don't get anything out of it except that day that you're living there.
totally.
So
100%,
good for kudos to
100%.
you for that. Yes.
No, thank you. That's how we started with single family to duplex. We still own it in Odessa, Texas, a duplex that is making us money. But that's how I got the start, Emerson and Mike. I started with a duplex to 14 units for $180,000, which we sold it for
Wow.
380,000. That was the start for
Wow.
Vinney
Wow. Wow.
Chopra. Yeah, and then we got into 109
In Odessa,
units, 60
Texas.
units.
I know Jim's in the
Odessa,
background
Texas.
listening. So Odessa, Texas, huh?
Yes,
How
Odessa and
about
Midland.
that?
Odessa and Midland.
And
That's where we
Midland.
started,
Okay.
Jim. In Midland, Texas. Yes, yes, yes. And we kept on buying properties there. Then we moved to San Antonio side, San Marcos, coming down towards Austin. Then we went from there I started a new company, went to Houston, bought, I don't know, 17 deals over there. Then went to Atlanta, then went to Florida and all that. So, that's how I expanded with the power of syndication. That is something I hope everybody listening or watching us gets into. Please look into word syndication. It's a SEC rules, that syndication process in USA, which is a watchdog. I love it because it keeps the operators honest, transparent, communicative, everything. Because legally, the investors own the part of the real estate. That's the beauty of it, legally. And then operators can work towards adding value to the assets and increase the net operating incomes. That's more technical terms, but that way we could refinance the property, give the money back to the investors, and give equity gains and things like that.
So especially those of you who maybe and I'm just going to branch off here for just a second.
Sure.
Those of you
Sure.
who maybe have found yourself at a certain point in your life where maybe it was because of the loss of a spouse. I mean, maybe or some other issue, or maybe a layoff that you were in, and you have found yourself in a situation where you've got resources, financial resources, but you don't know how to invest them yourself.
Yes.
And there are a lot of
Yes.
people out there who you know, who may be unsavory in the way that they uh, uh, pitch you, I'll say.
Oh no,
But
no,
in terms of
totally.
syndication, you have the opportunity to have something that is uh, regulated and
Yes.
is something where you can check the records and you can see the
Mhm.
results that
Yes.
a syndicator has had in the past. So, it is a way for somebody who maybe, I think, Vinney, isn't comfortable, doesn't really know enough about real estate investing or whatever themselves, to find somebody who does, or some company that does, and let that company be that person, and they reap the rewards for it.
So true,
is that fair?
100%, Emerson, you're so right. Because syndicator like me and others, there are many, many great ones in USA and abroad.
Right.
They have learned, they have done the underwritings, we call them, how to find the right assets in right neighborhoods and see the value add function, put together a business plan, how it's going to increase in value, everything, which takes a lot of experience and time to understand and do lots of, like hundreds of properties you have to underwrite to find one golden nugget, I find, and that comes with experience, with also knowing the whole background and everything. But it's great for the investors, passive investors, we call them limited partners. They are partners, they are not debt investors, but they own the equity in the project and they are on the title of the property, but they are not on the loan. You're right. Yes. And then 70 to 80% of the returns that the assets make are given to the passive investors. Almost 70 to 80% of all the gains and everything are given back to them. So it's a good process. It's a good process. But real estate is risky. I want to say that, put a disclaimer. Please don't take our, views or anything. We are just kind of sharing the knowledge. Yeah.
That's all very good advice.
Yeah.
And it's something it's something that a lot of people maybe don't think to do, in terms of doing the due diligence. I'll use that term, and looking at the party and looking at the person that is that, and finding others who and what they've experienced there.
For sure. Also, I was going to say, with the trends of the industry, if we go a little deeper into real estate, commercial real estate, demographic plays a big role. So what we are saying now, we have a millennial, the generation X, Y, Z, Zen, we call them. They are the young ones. And then baby boomers, 10,000 are turning 65 every day in USA. 10,000 of us, baby boomers, are turning 65, and then 4,000 are turning 70, 75. So there is a big need for senior housing. And I know Mike, our good brother, we are launching my book, which is in senior living investing, made easy. That's the book that I put together in the last 2 years. A lot of hard work, 440 pages. That's something, also will be coming out.
Yeah, we've can you guys hear me now?
440
Yes.
pages.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're editing and formatting it as we speak, so it's going to be launched real soon, and I'm excited. It's probably the biggest book that I've done in the last 2 years, and it's Vinney really lays everything out, folks. There's nothing held back. I mean, when you read this book, you're going to see every single step that he took to do a transaction, all of his due diligence, his underwriting, how they looked at the physical site, how they structured their financing. It's amazing how generous he was when he was writing this book.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I do want to plug that he's also doing a book on prosperity that I'm extra excited about, and just another example of him giving back. But I did want to clarify for some of our audience that there's two types of investments and investors. There's the smaller deals like the duplex, the triplex, the quad that you may be able to do by yourself, but I would still recommend doing with an experienced partner. And then there's the really large deals like Vinney focuses on now because he wants to maximize his return to his investors and the good that he's doing in the community. And those require accredited investors.
Yes.
And Vinney, why don't you explain just briefly how a person can tell whether they're an accredited investor or not, if you would?
Surely, I would love to. Actually, accredited investor, as per the definition of the syndication, we call it, and also SEC rules, it's an investor who makes 200,000 income per year for the last 2 years, or $300,000 income as a household. If their spouse and them together make 300,000 per year in the last 2 years, and making about that much with the similar possibility of making in the future, they are accredited investors. That's one stipulation. They could be earning that much money, or they can have $1 million net worth, $1 million net worth without the equity in their primary residence. That's the thing I wanted to mention that. So $1 million net worth of assets and everything, cash, positions, retirements, or their investments, everything is included. Your rental properties, all their equities is included. But just that 1 million, it does not have to include their equity in the primary residence. So one of the two, if they qualify, they are accredited investors, and they are then able to invest into syndications like ours, mine, or others in the country. They fill out the paperwork, and in 506C, which is more complicated, that's where accredited investors are required to participate. Yeah.
Okay, and they I also wanted to mention, because I imagine most of our people interested in investing are just starting out. I apologize
Yes.
for the accredited
Mhm.
investors that are listening because they found out Vinny was going to be on. But
Ah,
Vinny goes and speaks at large real estate events throughout the country to give back, and
thank you.
those
Thank
events, certainly the people have products there they'd like to sell you. That's how they pay for the hotel rent and all of the other costs. But they bring in speakers like Vinny, and I promise you, folks, he's there to speak to give back, not
you. Yes,
because he needs to sell you
sure.
anything. And
Yeah.
Vinny, you have one coming up pretty soon. That's
Yes.
near Emerson and I in Florida. Could you just mention briefly about that one?
I would love to. It's 100 Millionaires Summit. I was there last year with my very good friend Walter Amarello. He's the host, he's the organizer from Tampa, Florida. And he joined me, kind of, we do a show together every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, live show. And it's Abundance Mindset with Vinny and Walter show, because I really believe in prosperity, positivity, making a difference in the lives of people, and really making their companies grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's the one. When he said 100 millionaires, I said, why not 100 millionaires we could make around the country, around the world? So that will be the one coming up November 3rd through the 5th this year in Orlando, at the Orlando Hotel. And Emerson, I would love to get a ticket for you, sir, if you would love to join me over there, along with brother Mike, and his lovely wife is also coming.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be wonderful.
Thank
I would
you.
love that. And we'll be
I live in
giving our books
Jacksonville, so
also. Oh wow, that's not far. That's not far
yes.
at all. Oh, that'll be
No.
amazing, amazing. Oh, so
Mike's
lovely. I'm
down in
building
Moak.
senior.
Mike's about the same distance south.
Yes, exactly. And actually, you said Jacksonville. It's a beautiful, because I've been there, and we also bought a property in Melbourne, Florida, which we are selling right now.
Okay.
And I'm building assisted living in Palm Bay, Florida. Sorry, Palm Bay, which is not far, near Melbourne, right down there also. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
Vinny's also going to be giving away his latest book
Yes,
and doing a
yes.
book signing at the event. So we're really
Totally. My
excited,
three
folks.
books, I'll be bringing
Oh,
300
wow.
books, I think, or something. I don't know how we'll do it. But my syndication book, and then my positivity book, and the senior living book. thanks to Mike. I mean, I'm so fortunate to know Mike Lewis, and I'm bringing a lot of my friends into his circle now because he's amazing, and his whole, I really believe everybody's got a book in them. They should write one and give back.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. And it doesn't matter your
Very
age,
true.
folks. Anybody over 21 has a story.
Hmm.
It's and as we mature, our story changes, but
Yeah.
we never know when we're going to be done here on Earth.
Yes.
So
Yes.
don't wait till you're retired and 65 or 75 years old,
Yeah.
folks. Share what you know now, and it'll benefit you even more than it benefits the people you share it with. I think that's one thing all three of us as best-selling authors
So
can
true.
agree on is if you really want to learn a subject, teach it to other people.
So
And
true. So true. So
and
true.
Yes.
that's the benefit we get from it, folks. When we create these books that we're sharing with you, the creation of the book, putting all that knowledge in a cohesive
Hmm.
order, it benefits us more than it benefits anybody else. So we can
Totally.
be we can be gracious and giving and yet benefiting ourselves at the same time.
I totally agree with that. I always say teaching is twice learning. When we teach somebody, we get so crystal clear in our concepts and everything. And we do even more research and more research to give the best product out. So, no, thank you. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that.
Well, and as my mother always said, the really good teacher learns more from students
Hmm.
in many
So
cases
true.
because the teacher
So
is
true.
growing every time that the instruction's taking place. That is so great that you're making those books available. As you
Oh,
know,
Yeah.
Mike,
no.
Mike and I began a, 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 are beginning a nonprofit basically called Ideas Worth Knowing, and
Hmm.
we would love to be able to include your books there.
Sure.
The
It'll
Ideas
be
Worth
my
Knowing is
privilege.
the
Oh,
purpose of it is to make these books available uh, as a nonprofit, making them available for
sure.
entrepreneurs and investors and
Yes.
people who are trying to learn, but either don't have the funds to go to some of these big conferences,
Yes.
or they don't have the time, or not able to get off work to do it, or don't know who to turn to. So we are making the books. Mike has published, I don't know, Mike, you have what, about 1,500 best-selling authors?
Wow.
Something
No,
like
I'm
that.
just almost ready to
And
break 1,000.
1,000. That's very big
okay,
number
1,000.
still. Very
All
big.
right,
Yes. Yes. You
that's
know.
still a bunch.
And,
So
Yeah.
making those books available where people can get them and
mhm.
use the knowledge in them. Something most people don't know, and I'll say this: uh, for most authors, for most authors, publishing a book is not it's not their big revenue
100%.
stream.
No, it's
You,
not. So
yeah,
true. So
it
true.
just
Yeah.
it's not the revenue stream.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if you wrote the Harry Potter series and are a billionaire from it, that's a little bit different. But most of us will never be that,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
We're that the people who write these books are writing and putting their knowledge and experience. And Vinny is sharing from 40 years
Ah,
of hard knocks and learning from others the things that he's found. And that's what most of the authors, I think that probably, Mike, that you have probably fall into that same camp, wouldn't you say?
Oh, that's so true. My
so true.
authors would much rather give away a box full of books than to sell them.
Yep.
The
Yep.
commission from Amazon for an
Yeah.
author is minuscule.
Yeah.
They'd
Yep.
much rather give them to the people.
Hmm.
And I remember when I was first getting started, when I was 17 years old, going out and buying a $10 or $20 book. I had to plan for that. I didn't have
Yeah.
that kind of discretionary income, and spending 49 or $79 to get the latest tapes. That
Hmm.
was a huge investment I had to convince my wife we should make. So now to be in a position in life where we can freely share this information. And folks,
Mhm.
one thing that's different about our nonprofit is we only place books on there from people we know. And
Yeah.
the reason we did books with them is because we know, like, and trust them. And there's so much misinformation on the internet today.
Mm.
Folks would, you know,
Oh
it,
wow.
it just it makes us cringe,
Mhm.
folks, when we see these bad actors out there giving you false information.
Mhm.
I think crowdfunding was a huge example in the real estate industry. Boy, a lot of
Mhm.
crooks use that as a way
Mhm.
to gain a lot of money and never buy any real estate. Uh,
So
so,
true.
so we
Yeah.
try to be gatekeepers and make sure that all the people that do put their books up for free are people like Vinney. And
Yeah.
that's you're right. These charities are so much fun. I mean, it's more work than my regular business, quite honestly, getting it started. I, I mean, I'm deep enough in it now that I'll complete it. But oh my God, if I'd known up front how hard it was to give money away, I don't know if I would have. But that's
Sure.
that's my take on it, Emerson.
No, I agree. I agree. And selling
Well,
books
you've
also, I
been,
think we
yeah,
have
and
sold
you've been dealing with all the
60,000.
little things of, well, you don't have this and you don't have that. Go
For
ahead, Vinny.
sure.
Go ahead.
But the big thing is, no, I would say that in my syndication business, I've gained
Oh, I think
millions of dollars of
a minute there, you
investors
froze up.
reading reading the book, just reading the book, and they're reaching out to me and my team saying that, Vinny, I liked your book or I liked your podcast, so that I want to invest money with me, right? So millions of dollars have come, not in commissions, but investors learning from the books that I've
Sure.
written on positivity, on syndication, and now senior living, which is coming out. Yeah, no, makes sense. Totally makes sense. No, it's been a wonderful, experience having coming on your show. And please ask me some more. I can give back any more ideas or
Oh well,
comments. Yeah.
we'll have you on again too, because I know you're so
No, thank
generous
you.
with getting your
Uh,
message out.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
one of the things that I wanted to mention to folks is that one of the reasons, well, let me put it this way: if you go to any type of meeting, no matter what field it's in, almost all of the people that you see on stage have published a book. And folks, that's a clue.
Mm.
If you see all the successful people in your niche are publishing books,
Mhm.
that's a clue that it's a good thing for them to build their career. And I also see all of my authors are so generous with other people with helping them get started. They don't put that in the book. They usually put pure information with a couple of good
Mhm.
stories thrown in. But if you go up to a speaker at an event, unless he has to get to the back of the room for something, they'll almost always take all the time you need to answer your questions.
Mm.
I've seen speakers have to herd the crowd around them out into the hallway because the next speaker was coming on, and uh,
Mhm.
and they'll stay there. I know I will, and I suspect you will too, Vinny, and Emerson. I
Yeah,
know does too.
sure,
We'll stay
sure.
for hours extra answering
Totally,
people's
totally.
questions,
Oh,
and
many
so that
times. Many
yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Uh,
many times. Yeah.
yeah, nobody that's really successful, like the people that play at the accredited investor level, needs the money, folks. I mean, they don't. They're doing it because it's a responsible thing to do to shepherd their money, to make it grow and create money. I knew you would. The A team's going to be here anytime now. Uh, Vinny, is there?
Yeah, I
Is
see Jim. I see Jim over in the studio clapping his hands.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Yes, for those of you that don't know, our producer's in the background doing wonderful things. And
Yes,
before the show went on, we were discussing some of the things he does to help small towns raise their
yes,
tourism. And
yes.
it was obvious that all of us thought it was a great thing and that all of us were excited about helping
Mhm.
small towns,
Yep.
because they're they grow such great people in small towns. So anything we can do to help their economies, I'm all for. But
Totally.
Vinny, could you tell us? I know you're nationwide now with your
Yes.
properties, but
Yes.
what advice would you give someone just starting out as to where they should look for both properties and more information on how to do properties correctly?
Oh, I see. No, definitely. I would say where you are situated, there will be some really emerging markets, I call it. These are the ones where the growth is coming. Most of the MSAs or smaller towns, also, if people are coming in and going out, we need to find out where you might like to purchase a property and value add. That component has to be there, because if the property is not increasing in value, then you won't be able to give the returns to the investors who invest with you to purchase that property. So in the southeast, we find lots of different, all the way where I was mentioning, from the Carolinas, from Virginia's, all the way down to Florida, to Texas. Texas is humongous, humongous. So many people are coming in every part of Texas. Of course, we come to Arizona with the seniors, retiring now. It's a mecca for senior living now over there. Idaho, Boise, Idaho, and all the places. Then Bend, Oregon. In the Oregon side, people are also liking to retire there. We have almost 57 million seniors, and we'll be becoming almost 90 million in this country. So the next 30 years, lot more seniors will be there. So they will be going away from the work where the jobs are. They would love to be living in the secluded areas, or where near golf courses, streams, and canals, to have their, the golden years, I call it. So there are trends, demographic trends. Mike, you asked a very good question. It takes a little bit time to figure out where you would like to buy the asset. Once you have decided on that, then comes what kind of properties you want to buy. Is it going to be multifamily? Is it going to be residential assisted living? Or it could be boutique hotel in tourism? Or it could be like strip shopping centers or car washes or anything, right? Laundromats. There's so many businesses, that one can invest in. It's a
You
broad subject. No, go
Yeah,
ahead,
you
please.
mentioned one other thing that I'd like you to go into, and that's what's termed in the industry value added. And
Yes.
that to me is how a little investor can get real leverage. And
Mhm.
I always said that I want to buy the ugliest house on a good street
Yes.
rather than the
Mhm.
best house on an ugly street. And could you expand a little on value added and how you use it?
I would love to, love to. Essentially, there are like A, B, C, D, E, let's say, neighborhoods, and A, B, C, D classes of real estate also. The newest ones are A, and the better areas are A. So it's good to buy a C class, which is like mediocre, in the 70s or 60s built property, where you can add value by through renovations of the units. That's value add. By renovating units, you could increase the rents. So the idea is to do certain things in the ugliest property, just like you said, Mike. If the curb appeal is not good, fixing the curb appeal will increase its value. Giving some little bit better amenities and some renovations things will increase its value. So increasing value comes from value add, which is like capital injection, we call it also, because we are putting a new roof, let's say, or a new parking lot. Could be even some units which were down. We might be able to add a little bit money and bring them back online. So that's value add. So those things increase the revenue on the top. Other value add is by decreasing the expenses, by cutting down on the expenses, which increases the NOI. And with the cap rate, capitalization rate of that area, of that asset, it will increase in value. That's what syndicators look for. So it's a good way to bring those returns back. If the value increases of the asset, we could refinance that asset and bring the equity out and give it back to the investors. And then you could sell the asset too in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. That will be the capital gain. And the one thing I didn't really talk today at all about taxation, cost segregation, and depreciation, which is a very big elephant, which makes the profitability of the any LLC go into negative because it's a paper loss. That's depreciation.
Yeah, that is can be a real blessing for our high income
Mhm.
investors. But
Yes.
you talked about curb appeal, and I just want to mention to the people that are
Mhm.
just thinking about getting started, whether it's single families or small multifamilies, that if you see a tired looking property, usually
Yeah.
behind that property is a tired owner. He's,
Yes. Yes.
he's it wasn't as much fun as he
It's
thought it
done.
was, or
Yeah.
took too much of his time. So now he's kind of let the property go, or he's rented to
Mhm.
people without doing his due diligence to make sure they were good. So that folks driving around in up and coming areas, like Vinny said,
Mhm.
and looking for tired properties. Those are two invaluable things that you can
Yep.
do to help get you into your real estate investing career. And
For sure.
Emerson, you had something there. I think I might have cut you off.
Mhm.
No, you didn't cut me off. I was just thinking, another term for the adding value that people may have heard the term sweat equity. And especially if you're
Ah.
starting out, for those
Mhm.
viewers who are starting out, if you're able to go in and repaint it, you've just added value. If you're able to go
Mhm.
in and put shrubbery in the front yard,
Mhm.
you've added value. There are things that you may be able to do yourself that aren't vastly expensive things, and you're able to put your own sweat equity into it, your own work into it. And in fact, my youngest daughter did that on a house here 3 or 4 years ago, and they are about to buy another house down in Orlando, actually. So I would be
Yes.
probably
Yes.
visiting them while I was down there. And it's a house from the '70s, exactly like you said. I gave them very similar advice. Is a
Yeah.
house from the '70s, and it's going to need some work, but
Mhm.
it's that house that's not quite up to the value of other
Mhm.
houses all around it, and they can go in and they can adjust that and change that. And they are already made plans to take out this wall and to redo the bathroom and the things that they're
Mhm.
going to be doing. So it's all
Awesome.
very good
Awesome.
advice.
Very nice. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The great thing. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to mention that there's clubs that you'll hear other real estate people refer to as RIAs, and that's Real Estate Investors Associations. And in
Mhm.
every big town and in a lot of the small towns, there are groups of investors that meet on a regular basis,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they too are hugely giving people. I
Mhm.
mean, you can, most of them have a nominal fee of maybe 25 or $75 to join, and but they have a meeting every month where you can associate with other people that are actually doing what you want to do. So I
Totally.
always like to give the RIAs a plug. I think
Yeah.
all of us have been
Sure.
to RIAs both as attendees
Yes.
and as speakers.
Totally. For sure. 100%. And now with after COVID, a lot of the meetings, investor clubs are meeting on Zoom and different platforms also online, which is amazing because you can be sitting in the office or home comfort and not travel and get to learn so much and interact with people in the meeting rooms. So they are able to split them and then also getting information and then talking to them. It always is building relationships is the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the
That's
travel and just the orchestration and everything else for all of that, it really is a challenge. When when I was working in that space, we had up to 400 workshops a year that we were doing.
Wow.
So we had people flying somewhere all the time, trying to show up at these different RIA groups and non-RIA groups where we would go in and do a workshop ourselves. And then there was all of the advanced training and stuff on top of that. But just the initial workshops were in the hundreds every single year. And now so much of that can be done digitally, can be done online. And it's a tremendous, tremendous release of that information and a breakthrough for people to be able to have access to the kind of information that we're talking about on a monthly basis.
I agree, Emerson. I just wanted to say, not to put a plug or anything, I started recording myself and video recording myself for last 9 years now, because a lot of people were asking me same questions and my answers were the same. So my team said, Vinney, you got to just record audio and videos. And I'm happy to say that I'm able to put together an online academy on syndication, multifamily syndication academy, it's called. And a lot of people pay me $50,000, $100,000 to teach them, but it's the same material. I put it into online academy for under 1,000, under 1,000. And just wanted to say that, if anybody's interested or you can't afford it, just reach out to me. I will give it to free even, yeah, because it's online. And love
for
to
sure
see
get the books.
that it can make it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And books for sure for free. I'm totally gonna. Definitely. And I'll be getting them also audio versions too of both the books. I always do every book into audio also, so that will be on Kindle, audio, paperback, hardback, everything. But in your organization, everything will be available for free. From the audio versions also, if that's what you like, also along with physical copies.
I think we're all blessed at this stage of our life to be building our legacies, and that's one thing. Folks, we want to leave something when we go, and I think most people do. And, we do that through our children, through our work with charities, and through our products that we create and share with the world. And of course, books are the best for doing that. But there's a lot of ways to leave a legacy.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah, we were talking. We were talking earlier about planting the trees and that sort of thing.
Yes.
And the trees that Emerson planted, there were, I don't know how many thousand. You can tell us, Emerson, but could you tell us about where the seedlings came from on those, Emerson?
Well, the historic tree nursery, we collected seeds from famous and historic trees like the last living Johnny Appleseed tree or the last living Liberty tree, or the largest oak tree or the largest redwood. And we collected also seeds from historic sites like Gettysburg and presidential homes, Mount Vernon and others. So the program that we actually did with Walmart and the VFW, we had seedlings grown from trees that we had gotten from Eisenhower's home.
Wow.
And we made these seedlings available for VFW post all over the country. And just the weekend, it was on a Memorial. We just had Memorial Day. It was on Memorial Day weekend that year, and we had over 3,000 media events that took place: television, radio, newspapers, magazines, national media, and national interviews, and post all over the country had these tree planting ceremonies, remembering the ones who had served, the greatest generation that had served during World War II. So it wasn't, a lot of people think of PR, press releases and things like that as getting free coverage, getting free advertising. And if you think beyond that, your marketing is able to use it. And that's what we did. We used that as a key element to get the word out to more and more people. And just in doing that, in the program that we were doing, national media wanted to cover it. And so it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Sure.
So that was some of the work that I do.
Yeah, I wanted to mention we've got about 2 minutes left because we're on a big network, Vinney. They're very strict with our times.
Totally.
I'm going to throw the last 2 minutes to you. Is there anything that we haven't asked you that you'd like to share?
Oh, I would say that, one thing for sure, anybody can do anything in this world. I believe that. I believe that we can let the law of attraction and the law of abundance, law of manifestation work in our favor. And let's be more positive. And from the past, we learn what has good or bad or ugly. We learn from the past, but we cannot really stay in the past. We need to be living in the present, and then the future will take care of itself. I speak that in my book also, and positivity brings profitability, because we can be a better leader, we can be a better husband, better brother, better everything, if we are tending towards more positivity and looking at the whole spectrum of life, to give to everybody that we touch on a daily basis. Our organizations will be doing better, will be growing as per people, and just to bring the best of the best in everybody around us by giving our best, because we need to change ourselves first. Then only we can give that light, that force, everything around us.
Well, Vinney, thank you so much. I had a great time listening to you. It's always an adventure to be around you, and a great use of time, I think. We've got to roll out now. Emerson, did you want to close things out?
I think, hold on just a minute. I wanted to make sure that we had everything in place to do this.
Yeah, nothing like boomers using technology.
I may have to get Jim to help me on this one.
Jim, could you extra us?
There. Well,
I'll be glad to do that. Just be sure and tell everyone goodbye, Emerson.
Thank you, Mike. Come on in. Mike, come on in.
Yeah. Come back next week and come back. Yeah, come back next week and see what.
On this.
Yeah, come back next week and see what else we do wrong. We'll see you, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Be sure and love yourself first, then you can love others. And on behalf of, Vinney and Mike and Emerson and myself, we sincerely hope and pray that you and your loved ones are healthy, happy, and blessed in all areas of your life. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.